Again, I said, is that a see? Yeah, that's one program. Then they like.
Yeah, we're gonna try. Say no. Okay.
Good evening, everyone. The Park District of Forest Park Board meeting for March 19th, 2026 will come to order. Roll call, please.
Alsa Mora. Lyons. Here. McDermott. Here. Sansoni.
Here.
Gillian. And which was for your. There's never pledging me.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. Need approval of the agenda, please.
We're gonna make it that motion.
Okay.
It is not, what's that? I apologize, I didn't add it to the agenda. Tim had suggested adding board reports, so the board has an opportunity to report also. So, we have to just, make the motion with the change.
Okay, so did everybody get that or should I make the motion?
Can't make a
So then you do it. So
I know what you want to do.
I put it at the bottom under board business.
Okay.
you know what it is. So you make a motion.
Number, or letter, not number, letter F under new business, I think it's.
Letter F under new business, I will make a motion to, add commissioner reports.
Sorry, I'm a little bit lost. Can you point out where to get that? Under new business?
Yes,
Other matters for discussion?
and then, but we're just gonna make it a standard so that the board has a chance to report also. That way you get it. So cheap, so
Yeah, so,
this is for now because I didn't put it on there. We just want to make the change.
okay, so there's a motion and I get a kids up in it.
I'll second.
Okay, there is a motion and a second now on that edit item, follow up, please.
Also more.
Aye.
Lyons. Aye. McDermott. Aye. Sansoni.
Aye.
Gillian.
Aye. And just again, so that everybody understands, where I used to work, at the end of the meeting, one of the commissioners had an opportunity to give a for themselves. And it just gives each of the commissioners up here an opportunity to say, you know what, I really like this, or I hated that, or thank you for coming, or whatever. So something new we added to that. On with the agenda, the approval of the minutes from February 19th, please.
Motion.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll.
Also more.
Nay,
Did you want me to make changes? So.
I will speak on that in the part where we get to comment as board members. Yes.
Okay. Lyons. Aye. McDermott.
Aye.
Sansoni.
Aye.
Gillian.
I need approval of the minutes of the closed session from February 19th, 2026, and I'll pass those out shortly.
There you go.
See. Okay, any correspondence?
We did receive, sorry, voting on, sorry, we got.
Oh, I'm
voting
sorry.
on the closement consent.
Yep.
Sorry.
a
Oh,
motion-
Maura.
Where are we?
I'm sorry.
We're completely on.
Close.
Aye.
Second. Thank you. Did we get a motion in a second?
Yeah,
Did we go?
so I need a motion and a second
I'll
to the
second.
closed session.
Thank you.
There we go.
Okay, now, Alsa Moore.
Aye.
Lyons. Aye. McDermott.
Aye.
Sansoni.
Aye.
Gillian.
Now it's time for correspondence.
The only correspondence we received actually is for the foundation. We just have to renew our license, so we'll do that. Other than that, we So no problem.
It's time for public comment. I'll remind each of you that it's a 3-minute time limit, and just tell us your name and you'll address on time. Going. Go. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and just make sure definitely your name, because it's sometimes hard for us to get our name.
Lisa Hyatt, H-I-A-T-T, 1002 Lathrop. I was present at the last board meeting in February. And I just want to go back to one of the points that I made when I was in front of you, which was that I supported a multi-sport field. When I said I supported a multi-sport field, it was in the context or assumption that if this were to be, that the park district would enhance its offering of recreation and skill building classes, as well as leagues for our residents. I hope you will consider to expand your sports offerings. As a Forest Park resident, my comment was not in the context of making our field more attractive to use for leagues with majority non-Forest Park residents as a means of revenue generation. I ask of the board for the waters continue to get even more muddy than they are to create and adopt transparent and equitable space use policy. This means creating policies that are driven by the percentage of tax-paying Forest Park residents in a league or group. Priority for use of space and lower rates should be given to leagues and groups comprised of more than at least 75% of Forest Park residents. In addition, I believe that our park should be treated first and foremost as a valuable resource for Forest Park community members. Unfortunately, I feel that our concerns and desire for improvement and priority have been met with resistance and disrespectful comments. Because of this, I think it is easy to conclude that rate increases might be driven more by deep frustration than responsible and equitable fiscal decision-making. When members use terms like Forest Park Youth Soccer has monopolized the soccer field, this mistrust deepens. The comment of monopolization hurts. Being able to walk on weeknights and weekends with my family of 5 to soccer practice, chat with neighbors and friends, all Forest Park residents, are cherished core memories for my children and myself. And I interpret that comment as I, in group of parents and children who are trying to actively participate in recreational activities in our own community, do not have the right over majority non-resident groups. What I think is needed is full transparency for a strategic plan informed by real community engagement with stakeholders who are directly impacted, and a demonstrated commitment to implement a space usage and fee policy that centers Forest Park residents and does not displace us. The only way to repair trust is to respond differently moving forward. So I hope you will consider this and take a step back to reimagine what community engagement has been for the Park District and what it could be. Thank you for your time.
Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Hannah Goldman, 834 Beloit. I grew up in Forest Park. I learned how to swim in this pool. I played t-ball here when I was real little. And I played soccer in the same league that still exists, Forest Park Youth Soccer Association. Here's a picture of me in my very first uniform from 1985. It's been around since 1980. Some of my strongest memories are of the park, and it really helped me shape how I see community, what community needs. And later, when my family moved across the country, soccer was the one thing I could hold on to. I joined a soccer team because I knew how to play from here, and I found friends and a sense of belonging in a brand new place. That's a big reason why I came back to Forest Park, to raise my own son. I wanted him to have the same experiences that I was lucky enough to have too. So when we talk about Forest Park Youth Soccer Association, we are not talking about just another entity or affiliate. This is a 45-year volunteer-run community league where more than 90% of the residents are Forest Park kids who played it. And it exists because families here have built it, supported it, and shown up for it over now generations. With that in mind, I want to raise a concern about what happened after the last board meeting. I learned that Forest Park Youth Soccer Association received a bill 2 business days after the last board meeting, reflecting a new rate of $25 per hour, saying that the rate had been adjusted per the board. This came with no warning, and after most families had already registered and paid for the spring season. I was at the last board meeting when the board chair clearly stated a couple times that any changes to the fee structure and or field use policy would require a proposal from staff and that it would be up to the board to decide. Thank you, Chair Gillian, for saying that. I appreciate that you were being clear about the process. So my question is, when did the board vote to authorize this change? And if you didn't, this is exactly why people are showing up. This is exactly why trust is strained, and this is exactly why process happens. So I'm asking for you to clarify whether this fee increase was formally approved by the board, and if it wasn't, please pause implementation until that process happens publicly. And if it does go to a board vote, I'll just say that know the impact of a change like this. It's real. If these kinds of fee increases happen, families will leave because it'll be more affordable for our kids to go play as non-residents in all of the neighboring communities than play here in our own community and on our own tax-funded field. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Sam Jacknell, I'm 444 Marengo. I just wanted to show an example for, like, my kids, they play 3 very common sports, basketball, baseball, and soccer. And out of all of the uniforms, the only one that says Forest Park is soccer. And I just think that's a really, like, they love that they play with the kids that they go to school with. When they go to these ones, they don't have that sport, teammateness, like, I don't have the right word. And it's just, it's a really great thing that Forest Park has, and I just wanted to show that example of that.
Anybody else?
I do have some that I've received. I did make copies for everybody. Because, and I can read them, it's however, the board, if you want, a lot of them seem pretty similar.
Like the center.
They're pretty much the same tempo. Let's see. As both a resident healthcare professional, I view community programming through the lens of a population, health prevention and equitable access. Youth sports are not simply recreational. They are well-established contributions to physical health, social development, and long-term well-being. Programs like youth soccer play an important role in promoting physical activity and fostering community directedness and supporting protective factors that benefit children and families. The proposed 600% increase is substantial and impractical. Be passed on to families, many of whom are already tax-paying residents who support these activities or facilities. From a public health perspective, setting financial barriers to youth programming risks reducing participation, particularly among families who may have already been navigating competing economic demands. Even modest decreases in access and physical activity opportunities can have downstream effects on health behaviors and community engagement. I respectfully ask the board to consider a more equitable resident-centered rate structure, particularly for leagues composed primarily of Forest Park residents. 75% communities such as Oak Park and River Forest have adopted models that recognize and support resident majority organizations. Aligning these practices would promote fairness and reinforce the value of local investment in community resources. The Forest Park Youth Soccer Association is a longstanding volunteer-led organization and has served families for over 45 years. It impacts that extends beyond athletics. It strengthens social cohesion and provides a sense of belonging and contributes to the overall well-being of our community. For many families, including my own, it is an integral part of what makes Forest Park feel like home. If a rate increase is deemed necessary, I strongly encourage the board to consider a phased incremental approach. Gradual implementation allows families time to adjust. My name is Sarah Vanderland, and my family lives down the block from the park. We moved here 3 years ago from Oak Park. One of the things we love about Forest Park is the community vibrancy around soccer. We love to see so many fellow Forest Park parents and kids at the soccer field on Saturdays. When our son started kindergarten, he didn't know anyone in class, but he was placed on a soccer team with a couple of classmates, and those friendships really blossomed. He also has been able to get to know kids that are both younger and older than him. He now feels really connected to our community, and soccer has been a big part of it. Well, it is great that Forest Park kids can play sports like t-ball, baseball, and River Forest or Oak Park. There's something special about having our own league specific to Forest Park. This is where our kids live and play and go to school. It's good for them to have the opportunity to play sports here too. At Forest Park, youth soccer is an asset to Forest Park. I've learned that the park district is considering increasing the fees by a lot. This is disappointing to hear, and I hope that the board reconsiders. While a small reasonable increase could be justified, raising the cost from $4 an hour to $25 an hour, and then 50 the following year seems unreasonable. Right now, soccer is affordable for families and others, and would like to continue so that all three of our kids can play soccer here at Forest Park. And I think that's it. I don't even know. You can't go for it, thank you, sorry.
Dear Jackie and Commissioners of the Forest Park Park District, my name is Deshawn Branch and I'm a resident of Forest Park. My address is 443 Marengo Avenue, apartment 2, Forest Park. I'm also a parent of a Field Stevenson student and an active member of the community. I'm writing because I'm unable to attend tonight's meeting to express my strong opposition to the proposed rate increase for the Forest Park Youth Soccer Association. As a community member, I'm deeply concerned about the impact this change will have on local families and the sustainability of a long-standing program that serves a majority of Forest Park residents. The proposed fee increase 600% will ultimately pass on to families, the vast majority who are tax-paying Forest Park residents are already contributing to the upkeep of these facilities. This creates an additional financial burden for families already vested in supporting our local park district. This increase may cause families to discontinue participation or seek a more affordable option elsewhere. I respectfully request the board consider establishing a resident-based rate structure for the leagues composed of at least 75% Forest Park residents. Neighboring communities such as Oak Park and River Forest have transparent, equitable policies that recognize resident majority organization. It is not unreasonable for leagues composed primarily of local taxpayers to be charged the same rates as those serving participants from outside the community who have their own space they pay taxes on. Forest Park Youth Soccer Association, a volunteer organization, serves families for 45 years. Beyond athletic, it fosters strong senses of community, belonging, and connection. For many, including myself, this program represents more than recreation. It's a meaningful part of what makes Forest Park feel like home for me and my children. I urge the board to reconsider this proposed increase and work collaboratively with residents towards a solution that supports both the park district and family it serves. If a rate increase is ultimately necessary, I urge the board to implement gradually over time a reasonable level rather than a sudden significant increase, similar to what was experienced in pool gas pricing, so families have time to adjust. Thank you for your time and consideration. Sincerely, Deshawn Branch and Pollard. Lauren Colbert.
No, I did not. That one just came.
Okay. So their email. Dear Jackie and Commissioner of Forest Park, my name is Lauren Macaulay, M-U-L-C-A-H-Y. It's a K. I'm a resident of Forest Park. My address is 1009 Circle. I'm writing because I attend tonight's meeting, express my.
It's the same. Is it the same?
It's, yeah, so
It's just, it looks like it's happening.
hers is, I'm looking at making sure. Yes, so her sentiments are the same as, Mr. Sean Branch Howard. So it's the same, or Miss, okay. It's the same email, so same thing that they sent, so.
Each board member did receive, this information, which I'm just looking for the board to, for the response. Please note that this is not a new issue. We have been discussing field usage with youth soccer for several years. Prior to 2022, youth soccer was using the field for more than $600 annually with no payment. During that time, there were many instances where no Forest Park residents were on the field, non-Forest Park teams playing games on our field, despite the fields being used exclusively every evening and throughout the day and evenings on Saturdays. When I started in this role, there were multiple situations where certain groups and organizations were receiving services at no cost, leading to an imbalance and inaccess for use. Our goal has been to create a system that's fair, consistent, and equitable for all users, and to eliminate any perception of favoritism. In 2022, I informed Mike Hill that youth soccer would need to begin paying for field use. After considerable discussion, we agreed upon a fee of $3,000 for the first year, with the understanding that this amount would increase over time. As we work with surrounding park districts to develop a policy for our group rental rates, we need to align our youth soccer fees with the Forest Park District 91 school costs, as their participants are 100% residents. Our goal is to have a recommended policy for the 2027 season. Additionally, we made efforts to collaborate with youth soccer to consolidate field use in order to simplify scheduling and reduce costs. Unfortunately, those efforts were met with resistance. We also requested the opportunity to review youth soccer's revenue and expenses to identify ways we could provide support, but we received no response. Our priority remains ensuring that all groups and organizations are treated fairly, equitably, and consistently. Our role is to be responsible to the taxpayer, and we always appreciate support and understanding protecting the taxpayers' investment in the infrastructure of the park district.
Was that voted on, that policy?
I'm sorry.
That went into effect, the $25 an hour? Was it voted on by the board?
That's just a line.
I didn't vote on it.
And this process.
And what's it based on? What's the $25 an hour covered?
No,
Yeah, there's,
you'll get another opportunity to ask questions at the end. I think,
yeah, there's more public comment, but we're not gonna, can't have that.
yeah, sadly, it's not a back and forth. It's not a question and answer. You'll get another opportunity, I think, at the end.
Yeah.
Item number 21 from Mark.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else, Jasmine?
Hi, my name's Erin Watkins. I live at 534 Elgin. I've lived here for not nearly as long as many in the room, just about 5 years, and the parks have been a big part of my experience since coming here. My kid plays on Forest Park Youth Soccer Association League. I marched in the parade because he was in Mr. Sidney's hip hop dance class a few years ago. I have taken Mr. Sidney's hip hop dance class with some friends, so really enjoy the parks. And I'm here missing my son's math night because I am really caring deeply about a lot of the issues that other people have raised. So I'd like to speak in support of the Forest Park Youth Soccer League. As I said, my son and many of his friends have played this league. They love it. We love it. It's blended with dedication and heart. It's organized with and for our community. So my job truly hit the floor when I heard that the rates had gone up from $4 to $25 an hour, and that eventually increased to $50 an hour. It feels sudden and arbitrary and major and retaliatory to me, and I share the concerns raised by others about the increase, but also about the process of how this decision was made that will affect so many in our community, especially the youngest members of our community. I'd like to speak in support of basketball courts. I recall from a previous meeting that some of the board bristled at assertions that there is no place to play basketball in Forest Park. The Ruse courts are great. I really like them, but they're not free and open to all. So I look forward to the portion of the agenda where basketball will be discussed because I'm one of many in our community who are asking for a place to play basketball outside. Number 3, community engagement. I noticed there's a community collaboration section of the agenda tonight. I truly hope that signals a genuine effort on the part of the board and park district to improve the way the public is involved in what happens in our parks. Attending the last several meetings, I've been really struck by the lack of transparency and the resistance to what the community has to say. It feels to me that we're being treated kind of as like a nuisance, but we're not a nuisance, we're your constituents, and these parks belong to us as well. We who are here tonight are joined by many others who couldn't attend, who care very deeply about the issues being raised. We're organized, we're collaborative, we care, we have a lot of heart, and we're going to keep advocating for the parks that belong to us all.
Thank you. Yes.
Good evening. My name is Ellen. I'm a new resident here in Forest Park. We moved in at the end of June last year, my husband and I. And we were looking around the area when we were looking to buy property, and we were originally considering Berwyn. We happened to be here on a Friday night and we walked by your soccer fields and we saw the kids and the families out there and I said, I want to be a soccer mom. And so be it. We just submitted our last papers to be foster parents. And we are going to be foster parents, hopefully for an elementary school student. We live right down the street here and they hopefully will be going to the school here as well. I still want to be a soccer mom. My husband was a professional basketball player in Argentina. He does his roots here, but we like outdoor courts. And so I think soccer is really important. It's one of the reasons why we fell in love that night with Forest Park. I will also say that I was originally born and raised in St. Charles, Illinois, which has a fabulous park district. My mom is part of many of these meetings, and I will agree that I think your job is to steward the great money that the residents here give and pay taxes on. And so this is a participatory discussion. That's how I see it. That's why I'm showing up again tonight. And that's why I hope, this will be a productive conversation where we can all figure out what's best for the community. So that being said, thank you for stewarding the money. Thank you for listening to us. I'm really excited to invest in Forest Park and to whatever children come into my home, and maybe they'll allow me to be a soccer mom.
Thank you and welcome to Forest Park.
Thank you.
Who's next?
Hello, everyone. My name is Shanita. I am 7529 Harvard. I just want to add, well, I kind of echo all of the other parents and residents in the room. We lived in Forest Park, I want to say for 9 years now. And soccer honestly is what brought us to Forest Park. We used to drive by and see all the kids on the field. So we was like, oh, that looks like community. So we wanted to join Forest Park for community. And soccer honestly do bring that community. Sorry. And not only soccer, I was gonna say, even with other sports, how other parents talked about having like baseball and everything, we were looking for that. But we had to go to River Forest. We did not want to play with River Forest. We wanted to play in Forest Park because we love Forest Park. So we're asking like not only for soccer, like bring other things to Forest Park for Forest Park residents. We want to feel that sense of community, that sense of safe. And like you said, it helps the kids get together. Like just because they're at school together, that doesn't help all the time. When they actually play with each other, that helps.
Thank you. Thought somebody over here. Yep, no more.
Hi, Samantha Abernathy, 600 Agrango. Sorry, I hope I'm not repeating anything. Yes, Dr. Field, I mostly just want to say that I was really excited to be here last month. I was really excited about my inner Leslie Nope was really nerding out about how many people were here for a Norman Rockwell painting town hall meeting. It was I really liked it. And I left here feeling really good, which is why I was so surprised to find out that as soon as public comment walked out the door, the conversation flipped to increasing fees on the student program, on the programs for children. And I think that we all walked out of that meeting thinking, yeah, we really want to see more programs for children, more sports time for children, more opportunities. And I was really dismayed. I was really disappointed that to hear that wasn't that didn't follow through for the rest. So I think it's a really onerous price to put on parents to pay more for that. And I think if you need to raise field fees on somebody, you should start with your adult leagues. Because this is a public good for public people to use, and it's not a country club.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Suzette Urban. I live at 124 Elgin. I've resided there in my home for almost 30 years. My daughter just walked in the door, Christina Ardondo. She played soccer with the Forest Park Soccer Association as a child, she and my son. So with Mayor Hoskins' children, we're now adults, so they're all adults now. My family actually goes back here to, we're all buried in Forest Home Cemetery back to the 1830s at least. So I've been a resident, we've been residents here for quite a long time. In this part of the forest. So, I'm just coming in late, but I would like to say, my concerns too are for the children here, that they're being provided adequately, a place to spend their time after school, to bond with other children, and to get that support from our community and from our leaders, because, we do pay, I pay great amount of taxes in my property. And I like to see those dollars spent on our children and on programs provided here for our residents. Number one, that's my concern. I'm going to retire soon. I have 2 grandchildren. So grandsons who will be, benefiting from these programs as well. So soccer is in our blood right now, and hopefully will continue to be. I would like to see Forest Park residents give them their respect as residents, and the tax money spent in a way that's going to provide for their children. And if other neighbors, Oak Park and the Forest would like to join in, if that's something that is being considered, I think that they should be paying a bit more than residents, and I really don't agree with the fee increase. I don't. I see my taxes going up, and I'd like to know that my tax money is going to go to our children, at least. I think I'm done.
Thank you.
I said too much, but yeah, that's it. Sure.
Anybody else? Oh, one, there it is.
My name is Matt Jack now. I live at 444 Marengo as well. Lived here my whole life. Grew up here. My dad was a commissioner for quite some time. I am catching up a little bit on everything here. But I will say when I was growing up, I did not play soccer here. I didn't play any sports at Forest Park. And when my children started to play here, I realized what I missed, which was quite a bit. And you do pay taxes, and I think everyone in the room knows we don't have #1 schools in the area. But we do have a great park out here. And that is something that we can be proud of in this town. And I think you need to think really hard about how many people you're forcing out with these rate hikes.
Thank you, man. Sir.
Timothy Hyde, 930 Marengo Avenue, as of November of last year. So I'll take the title of you guy, my name is Sir, and we're called to Forest Park by our colleague, and couldn't move into Forest Park when we first got here in 2021. We actually lived in Bourbon, North Bourbon, and we had a fantastic situation there. But we heard about a soccer league in Forest Park where we're trying to live. And thought, okay, let's do it. I don't play soccer like you, friend. Soccer's not my sport. Okay, baseball, basketball, yeah. Soccer, not as good. Our kids were in love with it, and I was stunned by how quality the coaching was. And someone said the community are on the sidelines there. And I was like, man, I want to live here even more. And so when we had the privilege to move in November, and you can imagine the excitement, number one, owning a house again for the first time in a long while, but also be a part of this. And so let me just first begin by saying I'm still learning. So forgive me if I'm stepping on toes, but I don't know what I don't know. Assume I don't know. But I was kind of surprised when I heard that you looked like, hey, there was a price increase. So like, isn't that what we pay taxes for? And what I'm hearing, and I hope we're hearing this too, like, a phenomenal product. in the soccer, like phenomenal, like for 3 years, we hoped to move in the neighborhood for the soccer program. And I was happy to pay extra as a non-resident to be in the soccer, because I realized that I'm not part of it, I'm not in the neighborhood. I should pay extra to be a part of it. That was my assumption when we paid extra from Berlin to be a part of the program. So I don't know that there's anyone outside of Forest Park that would have a problem with paying extra for Forest Parks District's thing. Number one, so I'm kind of surprised at the decision to increase the price for the residents. Secondly, just to say, thirdly, you have people who really love what we have here.
So just so you know, you're coming up on time.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine, yeah. And just to say that, like, the reason this meeting is happening, the reason is because people really love what we got here. And it just seems odd to add an extra $20 an hour for something that everybody loves so much. When maybe that could be passed on to someone else, or maybe there's another way to get that. If it's a matter of revenue, maybe there's another stream to get that revenue that doesn't cost the love for the program to get it.
Thank you, sir. Sir.
Hi, I'm Craig Weiss. I live at 1004 Thomas. I've lived in Forest Park for almost 10 years. I've coached soccer for half of that. And you know, these price increases are really going to affect these families, and also they're reducing our times on the field also. It's the Forest Park Soccer League. It's the only league we have for the youth. And we should get priority on the Forest Park soccer field. And also, like every Saturday morning, you know, when our games are, we have like the whole community gets together. We all go to the fields. There's 3 games and also little kickers, and everyone is together. It's like really the only time that the community socializes besides a few random, you know, festivals or whatever. And, you know, we get to see people we don't usually see. We get to socialize. Our kids get together. It's amazing, right? So with these reduced times, now we're having to have 1 game at a time. We're going to the Roos Hill for 1 game at a time. And the little kickers is gonna be at another location. So like my family, I mean, I have 3 kids and we're in little kickers and Division 1. So I'm gonna miss my preschooler playing little kickers because I have to coach the other league. Not everyone's gonna be together. And then when we try to compromise, we have asked about the softball grass and we got denied on that, which I completely do not understand. No one uses that. And also all we need is like an hour on the grass, which I don't, you know, we need an hour every Saturday morning. That's really it, maybe 2 hours. That's it. To get all these games together, the community together. I mean, I don't think that's too much to ask, really. I mean, it's the Forest Park Soccer League. It's our league, you know? So.
Okay, thank you, sir.
I'll keep mine short and sweet. Natalie Ratan Stack, I'm at 1345 Elgin. And I just, you know, I understand that you're trying to also, you know, balance budgets and, you know, create income. And, but as we listen to all these families in here and how valuable this is, I kid you not, this should be thought of maybe as a loss leader of the, you know, of the parks. This is the chicken that brings you into Costco. This is where people come in and they talk about it. They tell each other about it. It brings in further residents. You know, perhaps this thing is more important than just the budget line that it inhabits. And it could be something that, you know, we have a little bit of loss with people who are leaving for different schools. But we have a lot of people that like staying in the park district, and this is one of those reasons. That's all.
Thank you. Going once, twice, 3 times. So there'll be another opportunity at the end of the meeting. And thank you all for your comments. Treasurer's report.
Hello, everybody.
Thank you all for coming. The accounts payable, we had 3 checks run. And the first one was dated 2/20/2026 in the amount of $75,820.12. Second one was dated 2/27/2026 in the amount of $762,604.17. And the third one was for issued 3/6/2026 in the amount of $23,907.92. And the total of those 3 checks was $862,332.21.
Thank you. I need a motion from the board to approve the disbursements for February and March 2026 totaling $862,332.21.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll.
Allison Mora. Aye. Lyons. Aye. McDermott.
Aye.
Sansoni.
Aye.
Gillian.
Need a motion that the board accept the financial statements for the close of February 2026. Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll.
Allison Mora. Aye. Lyons. Aye. McDermott.
Aye.
Sansoni.
Aye.
Gillian.
Aye. Yes. Go ahead, Rob. Aye. You want to give us a presentation on the financial statements?
Yes, sir.
You guys are in for a really good time.
So, this is Martha Trotter from Sickich, who's our annual auditor that's gonna go through some really exciting stuff.
I will try to keep it brief. Good evening, I'm Martha Trotter. I'm the lead principal on the Park District Annual Financial Statement Audit Engagement. We are the district's independent auditors, and we have completed the audit of the fiscal year ended April 30th, 2025. Audit, as a result of the audit, we have issued the annual financial report, the board communication, as well as completed the required pillar annual financial filing with the state. The board should have received 2 packets prior to today's meeting. The annual financial report is the audited financial statements. I'll focus on that. In addition to that, we have issued the board communication, which is the smaller of the 2 packets you have in front of you, and that contains just required communication that our auditing standards require to communicate to those charged with governance. As I said, I'll focus on the annual financial report. So that would be the larger of the 2 communications that you have. Within the annual financial report, you'll find in the basic financial statements, the independent auditor's report on page numbers 1 through 3 of this packet. And I am pleased to report a clean, unmodified opinion on the district's financial statements for the fiscal year ended April 30th, 2025. That is the highest level of assurance that we can provide based on our audit that was conducted in accordance with generally accepted auditing standards. At this time, I want to acknowledge the efforts that were made by the Park District to provide us all the information that was required to complete the annual financial statement audit. It is quite a burdensome process. I do acknowledge that we have a lot of requests for information in order to comply with auditing standards. There's a lot of questions, a lot of requests for information to ensure that the financial statements that are issued comply with generally accepted auditing principles and are reported under proper government accounting standards board pronouncements. So I do want to extend our team's appreciation for all of the efforts that were made to provide us with the information requested throughout the audit process. The basic financial statements contain entity-wide financial statements, which are reported on a full accrual basis of accounting. And what that refers to is these financial statements are reported, include long-term measurement focus and include certain items that are not reported on a monthly basis to the board. These are strictly to comply with the state required filings with GAAP presentation. Items included in the basic financial statements in the bullet journal financial statements include
the district's capital assets, net of accumulated depreciation, the district's long-term liabilities, those that are not to be extinguished within the next fiscal year, but, for instance, long-term debt issuances, and the liabilities associated with the district's IMRF, employee retirement plan as calculated by actuaries. So those are some of the balances that are contained within the entity-wide financial statements, and those are reported in total for all governmental activities. Those financial statements you'll find in the statement of net position on pages 4 through 5, and the statement of activities on page 6. Following those entity-wide financial statements, you'll find the governmental financial statements, the governmental fund financial statements beginning on page 7 and 8 with the district's balance sheet as of April 30th, 2025. And then also on page 10 and 11, the statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balances. And these financial statements are reported on a modified accrual basis of accounting. So this is more in line with what you're used to reviewing on a monthly basis. This modified accrual only contains revenues that are to be collected within an availability period of 60 to 90 days within the fiscal year end, and expenses that are expected to be paid off within a year of the fiscal year end. So those are more short-term focused and more immediate extinguishment of liabilities. Also, these financial statements you'll find are reported for each of the district's major funds individually. So the district reports the general fund, the recreation fund, debt service fund, and capital acquisitions funds as major funds based on the level of activity that's reported in those funds. All of the other funds of the district are combined into one non-major governmental fund column and reported in total. Later on in the financial statements and some of the supplementary schedules, you'll find individual fund statements for each of those, what we call non-major funds. So you can see how that totals up to that non-major governmental total balance that's reported in the basic financial statements. Just a couple notes as you're reviewing the financial statements this year. You may note that overall, on page 11, you'll find the district's fund balances had a decrease in fund balance for the fiscal year of just over $1 million. Also, there were some transfers made during the fiscal year to adjust for some of the smaller funds, which maintained deficit fund balances and reported deficit fund balances from year to year. So there were transfers made out of both the general fund and recreation fund to adjust for those deficit fund balances and eliminate some of those deficits that have been reported. So in total, all governmental funds in total, that didn't have an impact on, because that's a movement or transferring of fund balances from general and recreation funds to other funds to supplement those deficits that were reported. However, you'll see that in our board communication, one of the ongoing comments we had made is to ensure that those deficits are eliminated somehow, whether through a refunding or of the loans or through extinguishment through transfers, which is what was done in the current fiscal year. Also, just of note, there was one Government Accounting Standards Board pronouncement that was implemented during the fiscal year that required some additional review of what the district reports as long-term compensated absences. Those are balances associated with any vacation and sick accrued time that employees can either have paid out when they separate from the park district, or if they are not necessarily paid out in cash for those balances, if balances can accrue and can be used in future periods, we were required to work with the district to come up with an estimate of what that liability related to that potential use of accrued sick time maybe in the future. This pronouncement did not have a material impact on the park district, and though it was implemented and you are reporting under the standards that were required, it did not result in a restatement of your net position at the entity-wide level. It did require some additional reporting, and as I noted, there's a lot of information that's requested as part of the audit, and this was just an additional piece that in order to comply with Government Accounting Standards Board's pronouncements, the district did have to prepare some additional information and calculations to ensure that the standards were being implemented appropriately. Within the financial statements following the footnotes, you'll also find, if you're looking to see how each fund performed as compared to what was budgeted, there is a section of the financial statements, both in the required supplementary information as well as the supplementary information, where you'll find individual fund budget versus actual schedules. So you'll see how, for instance, the general fund, the recreation fund, and all of the other funds that are budgeted for annually, how they performed as compared to what was budgeted. One thing to note, the general fund had budgeted a deficit of $871,000 for the fiscal year. There was a reduction of fund balance, but it was actually $391,000, so the general fund performed better than what was the budgeted deficit anticipated. Any questions on the annual financial report that was presented to you?
I can add, so some of the things Martha was talking about, when I started here, and Sikich has done a great job of helping us kind of get some things straightened out. When we were talking about the balances on the accounts, when we first started diving into the budget, we noticed that things were being allocated very all over the place, I guess is the best way to say it, and not maybe properly allocated. So we cleaned a lot up and spent a lot of time with Sikich doing this probably the last 3 or 4 years. Just getting things back where they should. And so now what's really nice about this is we have now, we're finally at the base. We finally got everything where it's supposed to be. And now it's just, we can better project as we move forward, especially going into these big projects. Because, you know, when we do the parks, that's millions of dollars on our $6 million budget. So we have to be very, very efficient. That was one word we've been using a lot. So thank you for helping us navigate the last couple of years, navigate this process. So
You're welcome.
Can I ask you a question? What was the opinion again?
It was a.
Okay. No, she took one of my list of pages and just wanted to point that out. Thanks.
Jeff, did you have any comments to make, other than you're really glad she's not going to be here for a couple of months?
So we'll be working on this very soon because I'm up to the end of this fiscal year again. I don't really have any comments to make, although I do agree with Jackie. Sikich has been extremely helpful, very professional. Our previous auditor, Sikich just asked so much better questions than our previous auditors and has really helped us clean up some of the outstanding things that when Jackie and I arrived, we're kind of hanging out there. So we appreciate that. We appreciate their hard work on our audit. And like I said, we'll be doing it again in a couple of months. So I'm sure. Martha's already thinking of the list you're going to ask me for.
you always ask for different, you keep us on our toes.
The only thing I would add from the board perspective, and I'm speaking for only myself, is that when we get a clean letter from the auditor, it's important to understand that you don't get to tell us it's a clean letter just because we're your client and we're nice guys. If there's something way wrong with the way we're doing something, you're obligated to tell us that and put it in writing for us. And it's always nice as the board to get a clean letter, because I've been part of not so clean letters. And it's not a fun time. So thank you for that.
So just asking, so you went through there's a lot of numbers here in layman's terms for like me and people who are sitting here. Was this a good audit, a bad audit? We're good is what you're saying, correct?
So our opinion is on the financial statements that are reported here based on our procedures that we conducted, and the highest level of assurance that we can issue on the financial statements is a clean, unmodified opinion, which is what we've been able to provide.
And that really, what they're really saying is that the numbers that we present on a monthly basis and over the course of the year accurately reflect the activity that happens in this park. So that's the result.
Any other questions for, as long as Jeff was speaking, Jeff or Martha? Hearing none, we'll move on. Martha, you good?
Thank you.
Okay, look at it. Thank you so much for coming. It's great
Thank
to
you.
And I'm sure we can talk soon.
Andrew, I know you've been shopping. Oh, yeah. So you can tell us about the buildings and parks.
We've been busy, pool, I think we're almost done fixing those sand filters. We're trying to find some time to paint the pool, but we need 55 degrees consistently for a week, and that's not the case recently. We did have some HVAC issues in this building, and the roofs, both were fixed by Star, which is nice. And then we have a lot of stuff that we are going to be talking about in unfinished business. So that's it, more than.
Thank you. Any questions for Andrew?
Spring, they're glad. We were at the St. Patrick's Day Parade and some of the upcoming events that we have, we have the flashlight ACOT on Thursday. We're gonna start at dark. And then we have the regular ACOT that begins at 10 a.m. sharp here on Saturday. So those are the two things coming up next week for us. Staff is just continuing to do what they do on a daily basis, but we're also planning for summer. We're hiring counselors, we're hiring lifeguards, we're hiring concession staff, maintenance, everything like that. And that's going really well for us. We've met with the library, but that's kind of the new business, right? So I won't talk about that. But I will tell you, Tim, because you talked about pickleball paddles and stuff like that, the library is gonna have some available for loan for the library. So people can lock out the pickleball courts and you can grab some pickleballs and check them out, check them out, like a book. So I promise to keep the pickleball paddle policy. So, but other than that, everything's going really good. The summer, I don't know if I mentioned it before, we're coming up with mini camps. So basketball, multi-sport, dance, volleyball, I think, for the kids to come in. I had actually got an email from a parent this morning, hey, if my kid's in camp, will you take them to the dance camp? Absolutely. For the so, I mean, yeah, we're just doing lots of stuff. Our programs are running good. Looking last night.
Thank you. Any questions?
What's the date on the Easter egg hunt?
Next Saturday, next week, yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Got it.
27th and 28th. We'll see you at 28th. Then that's 26th.
Jeff, do you have anything from Adam or are you just gonna skip that tonight?
No, if there's any questions, Travis.
Yeah.
Right now, he's doing a lot of help with.
The brochure's coming back Monday.
Yep, so they're working on that, so that's getting out as soon as possible. Looking forward to summer and, he's helping also with the hiring, like as far as marketing that.
Marketing, getting all Dominique's slides going for the pool and everything she needs. So, yes, he's busy too.
All right, Jeff.
Okay, we are busy in business office with new hires, just something I was mentioning, lots of people being hired, or a lot of people are returning. And actually, my business department coordinator, Jen, put a lot of our forms online. So we have been directing people to our, basically our HR portal where they can fill out an application and some other forms that we require. And then we get it all electronically. It makes it a lot easier for us to read their writing because they're typing it in instead of writing it. And then once they are in the system, we are able to communicate with them using Paylocity, our payroll provider, to get additional forms and information from them. So that's really been helpful. We paid back our bank note to Forest Park Bank, as you remember, right at the end of the year, with the delay in real estate tax collections. We were running a little bit tight on finances, so we paid them back, and that was, I'm happy that that went through, but there was, of course, a cost to us, approximately $10,000 to do that financing. So that's unfortunate, but we did collect enough money to pay them back by the March 1st due date. And we have heard from the county that they will, they have already sent the bills out. I mentioned that at the last meeting. And the due date is coming in. But they have already communicated with us as a government agency about their distribution process. So they expect to be distributing funds from collected tax payments within 30, well, after 30 days. So as you know, our fiscal year ends on April 30th. Right now, we're at about 50%. If you look at the fund analysis, we're about 50% tax collection, 55 actually, where we should be at this point closer to almost 100% because we're so close to the end of the year. So I'm really hoping that we can still bring in a lot of those funds before the year ends, because it'll just make our financial position stronger as the year comes to a close. So that's it for me. Is there any other questions or anything?
Thank you, Chuck.
You're welcome.
Jackie,
A lot of what's in my report is later on the agenda. I did want to say we still have not received our Remembrance Park grant reimbursement. It's in the final stages of processing. We will be going down for the legislative conference. If anybody is interested in attending, it's a great conference. It definitely talks a lot about just legal and different things that are in the upcoming year. And then we're going to be working next week on completing the Department of Economic Commerce grant that we received that we weren't really sure what it was about. We're going to submit the pickleball courts in the Harrison Street curbs and parkway. Because the grant was in the amount of $225,000. Other than that, I'm talking about the rest. Oh, and I was really excited, so I put it on here. I was asked, and Dominique was asked to be a PMSA mentor as part of their senior projects. They asked mentors within the community, so we helped them do their projects. My student did this project on encouraging financial curriculum at the schools because they don't have it, and helping budget, et cetera. So anyway, it was really nice. Dominique and I, we got to go watch him present, and we're looking forward to continuing to do that. So.
thank you. Anything from the SRA?
Nothing new to report.
Park Foundation.
We will have our meeting in April for this meeting, so if anybody's interested in Park Foundation, it meets about, these meetings are at 6, our meetings are at 5:30. And there'll be an agenda for that for next month. Reason being, if you're new here, Park Foundation is the arm that helps families that need financial assistance, and also does things around the park for memorials and doing other activities within the park to kind of get people to know about the, still looking for more members. I think we have it capped at 12 on board, and right now we're only at 4. So you have plenty of room, and I've got applications if anybody wants them. And if you are interested, just want to hear about it, please come a little bit early next month at 5:30, and it'll be right here in the same room.
Thank you. Under unfinished business, park renovation.
Right now, they've been doing soil work. They're boring, I can't say it. And then they're working on the topographic survey and the design plan. So that usually takes a couple months. So we're just kind of on hold as they do their work. So there's nothing really to update on it.
Aquatic Center repairs.
Yeah, you kind of went through them, so I don't think there's anything additional.
H&R building transition.
Same thing. We kind of, I think we're going to do all those.
Personnel policy manual.
I know everybody took it home and read it cover to cover. So I did thank you for the.
I read it cover to
You
cover.
did, I definitely did. So, if you, I know, you can send me emails. If there's any questions here from this stuff at the next board meeting in April, we'll look to approve, the personnel policy manual. And then it goes on to the attorney to do another review to say we're all good. And then I know Betty, you had brought up the board.
I'd like to see if I don't know if we have a board policy manual, but if you,
It is outdated though. So I have two samples right now that we're working on. If, once we get through the personnel policy, we'll pretty much start from the ground up. Because, and we can kind of go through it slowly because it is a lot of information.
It is a lot of
Yes.
information right now. Just for reference, the Oak Park policy manual for board members is posted on the website and it's also, it's fair to say it's out of date too. But it would be good to know from a board's perspective, the policy.
Yeah, so we received one from the Oak Brook Park District a few years ago. So just to give you perspective, it was 338 pages, which is good, and that's not a bad thing. IUPD also did a sample one, they took from all park
That would
districts.
be like pretty awesome to use as a benchmark.
Yes. So we'll probably use that one and then, but like I said, they do get outdated because it's a long process, but I think once we get the personnel policy done, we could really hit the ground running with that stuff.
The only thing I would say about the personnel policy, when you look at my questions, Jackie, some of them are kind of like, it might just need a legal eye.
Yes.
At it, just because I'm not a lawyer.
Exactly.
And I think you need to get somebody from IUPD to take a look at it as well.
Yeah, actually, a lot of these were really good comments. Verona has examples for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anything more on the 5-year strategic plan?
Right now, I'm just working on engaging, a few different companies to do this. We'll go through it and determine who would be the best, also cost-wise, person, but that'll take a few months to engage them, so.
We'll have to get you football.
That is, again, just to reiterate, they are definitely interested. They're really excited, to, be a part of Forest Park, and we're gonna look forward to continuing to work with them. For the future, they will practice. They use the Roos Hill and then there was not time on the soccer field last year, so they used the Roos Hill and then the grass area next to it to practice. So basically wherever they can go, they're looking to work with, Fenwick with a little fry, they're gonna make a little fryers and we're gonna incorporate it, and then also a little Pirates. Is it Pirates? Yeah, Proviso is the Pirates program to also, so they'll work with the middle school to encourage kids to participate. It sounds like a great thing. So I'm looking forward to bringing another entity in the town to participate, for our kids to participate in. And that is it's for boys and girls, tackle, flag, and cheer.
I need a motion from the board that we accept the proposal from Acoustical Vision Security for a burglar and fire alarm system upgrades in the amount of $15,624.43 as recommended by staff. Motion?
Sorry, can I just ask you a quick question on that? This is the replacement to the Illinois alarm.
Actually,
Or the.
you need a motion and a second.
Yes,
and then
I'm sorry.
Sorry, but I know it's silly, but, so I need the motion and the second.
I'll motion.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
That was my question. Sorry, I thought you were going to the vote directly. Is this a replacement to Illinois alarm that we talked about?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Well,
Senior
what we
moment,
do
I
is,
apologize.
what we like to do every 3 years, so just all of our contracts, and that's what we're currently doing. So our garbage, our alarms, our HVAC, you're gonna see a few of them now, we'll have another, but
Yeah.
it's just good practice to go through to see what we're paying, who we're paying, and comparing those services. And this is the start of that, and we'll keep doing that at the next meeting, so.
And this was a lot cheaper than the current one that we have now.
Yes.
Considerably a lot cheaper for me. So, yeah, so
Yep, just. So,
Okay, there is a motion and a second on the floor. Discussion is over, so call the roll, please.
Alzamora.
Aye.
Lyons. Aye. McDermott.
Aye.
Stanzelli.
Aye.
Gilligan.
Any other matters for discussion?
The only other, I did need to add, I know you requested to move the April board meeting, because of the keynote, but I don't need to move it. They're gonna actually do it on my 50th birthday.
What day?
So it's gonna remain the same day. It's just April 16th. So we were gonna move it later, but they were able, they are gonna force me to keep us to.
I plan my vacation around.
Hey, new business, talk about the, IAPD legislative conference in Springfield.
That's a great conference. We set up meetings with all of our legislators to meet with them, one-on-one. And then, like I said, the conference it's a great, it's very educational. I know, Kristen, you've gone, Roy, you've gone. So if anybody's interested, I just need to know so I can get,
Thank you, Jackie. I'll let you know by the end of the week.
it's
Like tomorrow.
Okay.
Time.
Perfect, thank you. Yeah, it's gonna be a good. Okay.
Let's talk about the community collaborations, library.
So, thank you, Kristen, for suggesting this. I think this is a great idea for all of us to kind of put it all in one area, what we're doing. Danette and I helped me out a little bit. We met with the library. They suggested it. Some, I think Chicago does it, Oak Park does it. But what it is they have a pool pass at the library that they can check out. We sat down and met with them, hammered out a lot of details. We're gonna do practice runs at each facility, so Abby's gonna go to the library and check out the pool pass just to see how it works, and then we'll also do a practice run on our system to see how it works, because we just want to maintain confidentiality with information on our customers and just kind of how the process will work with the entry too. So residents will have the ability to go to the library. They'll have 4 passes that they can check out.
Two at a time.
Two at a time?
Two at a time for a week.
Yeah, so, and they get it for a week. And then the nice thing is if it's not returned, because of our system, we're able to shut it off immediately. So, we can also track how it's being used. Amelia, our system, our registration system, does a really good job of helping us track. So I think it's a great,
They will check in.
it's free. They can check it out for free.
They'll have to, we'll create like a free day pass. So when they give us that, then we put it on their account. So we know who's checked in and what people. So we can, there's a way we're gonna track it. So.
You need to have a library card to do that?
Yes, yes, well, because they have to check it out. They'll check it out.
Okay, gotcha, thank you.
And then we're also doing the library with this.
We're gonna do the disability dance again. They're still doing, we're gonna do a cookout for teens over the summer. Out here, like, we're still doing after hours tours and we're doing crafts. And then we're talking about a whole bunch more stuff that we can do with them. So I met with them twice this week. So. And like I said, they're gonna rent out parables, not rental, but loan on this is how you do it.
Check it, yeah.
So it's, and we work with, we're doing the bike carnival with
Oh,
Michelle again. I can't remember the last name, Michelle.
Yeah.
We're gonna do the bike carnival down her. So, and Arts Alliance sent us over something we're doing.
So, yeah, the Arts Alliance, which is next on here, we're working with them on 2 different things. A mural on the H&R building. They did apply for a grant for that, and then we're working on what it's gonna take to top point it and before they do anything on it. And then there's it's a hearts project, so they love business hearts all around the park, and they want to do heart messages, so we're working with them on that. And then indoor facility space, I wanted to put this on here because it's more of a reminder of a few years ago. We did approach the school about indoor use of space. I think we've kind of took a step back. I think it's time to continue that conversation, especially as we started day camp registration, and I think some of the weeks are already full. So we'll start waiting lists, and unfortunately, that's really hard to have to turn away kids for summer camp. We just don't have enough space. And then we also added on here basketball courts. And Andrew and I met with the architects. They did do and we met through Zoom, so it's kind of like, here's what it looks like, here's the size, and they kind of moved it around and to help us find space. And I thought, you know what, I think maybe we start engaging the other entities so that we can all work together to figure out space, because obviously we're limited. And, as we can refer to, when pickleball came to us and said, we don't want to share the tennis courts. We heard how much they don't like to share the tennis courts. And, you know, they challenged us to find a space, and we were able to find a space. It took us a few years, unfortunately, and to finance it, but we did it. So, you know, they were very passionate. That's what they wanted. And so we looked forward to being allowed to have the opportunity to process it and really put the effort into making it a high standard of facility that we would want for our residents. So we put that on there. So I'm putting it out there so we can start this. This is kind of like a good way for us to start the discussion.
That sounds great, and I appreciate that you were looking at this. Thank you, Andrew, as well for that. When you say other entities, can you help us understand what that?
I'm thinking the other, like we work with the community collaborations, we work with the library, the village, the school, all these different entities. Can we sit down at the table and say, where can we put these in town?
And how can community members be a part of that conversation? How can some of us, myself included, quite frankly, because you know this is a passion for me. But if community wants to get engaged in that conversation, which I think is a good conversation to have, how do we provide?
Well, they could show up at a village council meeting.
Well, but it's
And school board meetings.
If it's be a little bit of plumbing with school board.
Well, like, I don't, maybe what we could, I mean, because I was gonna say, I think maybe what we could do is, we gotta start with the staff. So myself can sit down with the village administrator, the superintendent, and we start there. So then we can, build out from there, I guess is a good way to do it. So just sitting down with them and saying, where do we have space? How can we find the space? We have the expertise on it. Let's help us get some space around town and work together. So I think it starts at the same level.
And
You know,
is it a fair thing to say that based on your conversation, the architects have actually come back to say that there's no viable space in the grounds as we build it?
I mean, one should at the front lawn. So, because.
That was their like main recommendation would be, the best place for it would be on the front lawn, which right now.
Right now, that's where our events are. We do a lot of things on our front.
But short of losing a tennis court, that's the other recommendation.
Yeah, and I mean, I get with the tennis courts. I don't think we're giving it a fair, a fair look. So I think we can challenge ourselves to look all around before just, you know. And I feel like challenge ourselves, you know what I'm saying?
Has skin.
I just don't want to like shove it someplace that, you know, maybe we can make it work better somewhere else, but.
I mean, I do think it's important for us, and maybe this is something we monitor this summer. I don't think those tennis courts are gonna be in such high use. I mean, we've invested now in these wonderful pickleball courts.
Oh, no, they're used, that 70-degree day, what was it Monday? I don't remember. They're packed. We'll see. Okay.
You know, and just speaking out loud, that, and Kristen, you've talked about your park foundation, which can hold 12 members, there's 4. That would be a good thing for the park foundation to start looking and collaborating with the village and the school. So. Park
Yeah.
Maybe. I still think it's something that the park district needs to actively engage because residents aren't clearly asking. But I do think it is an important thing. We need to build cross-collaborative relationships, and trust and respect.
And I think that's why
This village and school boards.
I think this is a good way to start by putting out here, like, how we continue to challenge ourselves and collaborate.
Well, we look forward for, I think, more on this on that. Thank you very much.
And again, on those lines, these things will be on every agenda now, so that every month we're going to get hit in the head with it, just like we did with pickleball. All right, from the board, I need a recommendation to approve phase 2, the pickleball courts, and approve the shade structure proposal from Hartrue in the amount of $9,160 as recommended by staff. In addition, the later to install from Sportport Midwest in the amount of $4,050. Motion?
$750,000 or
What did I, yeah, $4,750.
Yes.
Need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Do I have one question? Andrew, is that shade going to be on the west end as
illustration.
So it's actually 4 different shade structures. We're gonna have 2 along displays, 2 along batting cages. And then Sport Wear Midwest, they're actually gonna excavate like the ground. They're gonna put them in there, concrete them, seal them up. So you'll have the middle courts will not have the shade structures, but the 4 outside courts will all have one. So
Okay.
they'll be spread out and they'll be, I mean, they're 6 feet wide each one, so there'll be a lot of room for people to use them.
And it's also seating underneath, so it's the shade.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, seat.
Yeah, right now we have the old, hockey.
Yeah. So are those, do those stay up all during winter or do you guys take them down?
I'll take the cabanas down, but it will stay up all year round.
So the poles will stay up, but the shading comes down, you
Yep.
guys are then responsible for taking them up and down.
Yes,
Is there an opportunity to maybe advertise in the marketing on those?
I'm sure.
What we're thinking is we're gonna do a pickleball, tournament. And the snapper is gonna be our like grand opening, whatever you want to call it. So then we can,
But we're not planning it till that.
that's not till the fall, right?
Okay, all right, great, thank you.
All right, so it has been moved and seconded and discussed. Okay.
Alvin Moore. Aye. Lyons. Aye. McDermott. Aye. Sansoni.
Bill,
The motion from the board to approve the roof repair, H&R building from Garland Incorporated in the amount of $9,571 as recommended by staff.
so moved. Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll.
Alvin Moore. Aye. Lyons. Aye. McDermott. Aye. Sansoni.
Aye.
Billy.
And then there's some that are each back.
Oh,
Yeah, so we've been paying a lot for our HVAC repairs with no, general maintenance contract. So we've had 3 companies come out to quote us for a year-round maintenance contract. We've received 2 quotes back. And we're waiting on a 3rd. So again, we have a lot to go on today, so we're gonna throw this at the next board meeting. But we do have the numbers and we're excited to move forward with one of the companies.
So this is where we can throw in a board report, correct? So we'll just start on your end, Roy, if you have anything to add or comment upon.
Nothing to add, but thank you all. Thank you all for coming, much appreciated.
I mean, it's.
But I did want to say thank you to staff, for, working with Sigich to get the audit done. It's not just a day, it's an arduous process and, the results are fantastic. So again, hats off to staff. Great job. Great job. Thank you.
I have nothing actually. Jackie, you could also participate here. You have a report. Kristen?
It's first I want to say that I know there's, I think a comment, but earlier, when I first joined this board, there was nobody at these meetings and it was kind of lonely. And I was like, I wish people would come. So I don't want anybody to ever think, I enjoy that people are here. I like that people are here and expressing their opinions and then coming and listening. And I think this needs to happen on every level of government. And especially here in our village too. I think it's great to go, and if you can't, then we do have them online. I like that we've got email. I did speak to Jackie and that community collaboration. I want that as part of our meetings every month to talk about this, because I think that you have all these different entities in town, and sometimes people are doing the same thing. It's like, why are we having 2 people do the same thing in town when we work together to bring resources together? We just heard, we have a good audit. We're doing good. We're financially, we're good. And so I'm happy to hear that's going on. And the thing is, I'm glad that, when you say something to us, it doesn't go on deaf ears. This whole Robert's rule, it's kind of hard, and I've done it where I've spoken, you're not supposed to, and everything else. It's not an up and back. But I always say, and I think everybody else here on the board too, especially Jackie, we're all open doors. We're all, call us, you see us, please, express to us. And then, I'm really glad that with the basketball, that we're really thinking about this through. I don't want to just plop it somewhere and just have it kind of be there. One thing I love about this park, excuse my language, we don't do things half-assed. We do things the right way. So sorry for swearing.
Terrible.
Oh, you should hear, it. I can say words. So that's just the thing, and, just lastly, with the multi-purpose field out there and with everything going on with that, you know, I've heard what each of you have said and about the rates and that, and there is some kind of like middle ground, but at the same time too is, you know, it's a two-way street. Everyone's got to kind of work together, and talking with Jackie, she read her statement. So, you know, I've heard what you're saying, but also at the same time, if, you know, you had soccer, it comes out to $4 an hour and our school is paying $20 an hour. I kind of think too, I'm like, well, where's well, why is that so unbalanced? And they're both entities from Forest Park. They're both kids that go to D91 are from Forest Park. Kids that play soccer, majority are Forest Park. So it's like, we got to kind of figure something out. So, that's all I gotta say. And, lastly, our little pocket park that nobody knows about on Lakefront, the 1100 block of Lakefront, Izzo planted like 300 bulbs or, yeah, like a ridiculous amount of bulbs. I was very happy. I found them at Costco really cheap. I just don't even set here with the plant. They're all starting to pop up. So if you drive down Lathrop, stop by that little tiny park, you'll see that all the bulbs are starting to pop up. So
They do what?
they were daffodils.
Oh.
So they're the first ones to pop up. So.
Very excited about the donations.
Betty?
Thank you, Tim. As you know, I was not somebody that voted in favor of those minutes. And while I could go through a long list, there are things that just, as I was going through it, the thing that came to my mind is, we can't be casual with the truth. And the reason I say that is as I'm going through, we're referring to people, our constituents. This is not an audience. These are taxpayers from the community that have taken the time on a Thursday evening to come and speak with us. And we can't actually even capture their names on public comment. It just felt like there was a set of minutes that did not reflect the conversation that was being had with the community. And in particular, references to potentially having a vote on basketball courts. That was not reflected in the community. But what was most distressing to me and why tonight I felt compelled to actually share this is that the minutes did not reflect conversation that was not a vote. It was a conversation about rate increases for the youth soccer league. This is why the residents, our constituents, are here this evening. That was a conversation. So imagine my surprise when days later, I've been getting a barrage of texts and emails, of people saying that a communication had gone out, that the board had voted to increase the rates. This was not a vote. And so I don't want us to be casual with the truth. I want us to be reflective and fair because reasonable people can have reasonable conversations. We don't always agree. But we have to reflect the reality of what happened in the room. That's a perspective. I have said it before, I know Jacqueline, you talked about it before. My strong recommendation for this board and for everyone, we have sunshine laws in the state of Illinois. Record these meetings and post them up publicly so that we have fair, open, and transparent record and transcript of everything that happened. We have two other civic institutions that meet on Thursday evening. So you have the Scout troops that are meeting, and there's a lot of parents with kids that play soccer. They can't be here this evening. We also have school board meetings that happen. And I know that we can't be in all places for all people, but we can at the same time talk about doing cross-collaborative relationships where we don't actually show to the residents and taxpayers of Forest Park what is happening in these board meetings. I commend, and I'm making a statement. That's what I was asked to do. So I really do commend everybody who shows up consistently here. This is your park district. This is our park district. I thank you for all the notes that I've been getting from all of you. And I just want to make sure that we can actually reflect what is happening in these meetings so that everybody in the community is well aware and well educated as to what's going on. Thank you, John.
The school board does not meet the same night as the park board. School board was last week. I think last month was a special meeting and they moved it. So we were on the same night that one time. But school board is always a week before.
And there's sometimes it overlaps, but yeah.
Yeah.
So whatever, it still adds to the point that people can't always be here physically, record the meetings. We have sunshine laws that allow the people to do it, and, you know, it just makes sense. We do it in the village and we do it in the D91 meetings, why not in the park?
So why we don't is we just got to the point of, in the last couple of years, Adam has done a great job of being able to record them. We don't quite have the technology, and Betty, so you're aware, we are working on budgeting to possibly, we do have the recordings. And I know Jeff did a really, we have, if a resident wants to see a recording, just reach out.
Can you post it?
Why not post it? We have a great website that was just built. We post it for all the other, for the village and district.
Hey, JP, get the floor.
Yeah, so, yes, we are trying to get that solved right now. And in a way that we can, when it was requested, it's a large file. So we're trying to figure out a YouTube way or some way, know that we are working on it, but things don't happen overnight. I hope. We're working on it, we're trying to get it there, hopefully by the April board meeting. And if you, and I know we just talked before this, if you are requesting it afterwards, give us a few days, we're gonna get it so that you can view it. It's hard to email it, obviously, so we are working on a way to do this. It just can't be done overnight, so, but yeah, then we can post the recordings, we have them all, they may not be clear, so when we don't have names, it's because we can't hear you. So we're trying to get better at that, but just give us time to do that.
But I think community deserves to understand that it wasn't a book.
Well, and it will be, so.
Because that's distressing, Jackie. That's, I think, and we can.
So as I said in my statement, this conversation has been a conversation that has taken place since 2022 with soccer, because up until that point, nothing was being paid. There is a reason that we have outstanding facilities because we have to continue to invest in that. And unfortunately, tax dollars are not near enough. When we renovate this field, it's $750,000. In the last 10 years, which was the 11 years, which was the last time it was renovated, from youth soccer, we've received $9,000. So we need, and so when we compare the different agencies, most people on the list are paying 4 times the amount that our middle school's paying. Middle school is 100% residents of Forest Park. When we talk about the vote, that I think that's where there's confusion. We need to come up with a policy, which is what we're trying to do, to identify. So when we say that there are residents playing on this field all the time, if you come out here on a Saturday, games are being played by Berwyn, River Grove, River Forest, Oak Park, those are just to name a few. So of all those hours, these other youth teams are coming in and playing, and there's no Forest Park residents on the field. But they're not paying anything to us. We are getting $3,000 a year. That doesn't even pay for security for a week. So we want to continue to have this park beautiful the way that it is. In order to do that, we have to invest back in it. We're asking in 2022, and this has been reported on, we've been talking to youth soccer since 2022. We have to each year increase this. It started out and now we're trying to increase it and at least align them with what our school district is paying. That's what we're asking from them. That's not a policy or change. We're just aligning them right now so that we can continue to invest in the infrastructure or like we have in our pool right now. Hundreds of thousands of dollars of repairs each year. Our soccer field, it's costing upwards of $50,000 a year to just repair it, to get it to the standard that we need it. So again, if we want to have beautiful spaces, we have to continue to invest in them.
I'm sorry, Kristen, how much the city?
Hold on just a second. There's gonna be a time in
Yeah.
just a minute.
We're gonna finish.
Okay. So,
I'm sorry, it's just that it's really, I think, Kristen mentioned how much the district is paying, and that's all.
$25 an hour.
all right, so, without objection, there is another opportunity for public comment, but that would come after our closed session. Without objection, I'd like to move the public comment ahead of closed session, so these folks don't have to wait for us to clear out and go into closed session. Anybody have a problem? with
I
that?
don't know,
Okay, so,
Plus they do.
there won't be any action in closed session. There's no. action
So-
in closed session.
more public comment, please. Go at once. There you go. Yeah. Right.
Oh, sorry, I do know Robert's Rules of Order. Am I allowed to ask a question?
It's public comment. You know what, if you want, reach out to me, I'll be happy, or just come in, I can talk to you more about it.
I think, like, I'm not naive. I know that things cost money. I thought of the soccer league as being part of the park district, like any other. And
It's not, it's a separate entity.
I know, and why? Like, why wouldn't the park do that? Why doesn't the park provide more youth leagues themselves? That's what I don't understand. It's not,
We don't.
that we want to, like,
That's a conversation we're gonna have with my.
it's so much more. I shouldn't have to pay as much as the Oak Park organization pays to like.
No, you
and
don't.
I just-
You don't.
I know, this is a conversation I would have with Mike Hill, because he's in, that's a board, they have a separate board on it, so.
Well, that soccer league exists because this park district doesn't run its own.
That's how. Well, it actually, yeah, go, Kathy was here when, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, sorry.
Actually, the late director, the late Dave Novak is the one who brought in soccer to the Park District of Forest Park. And the same reason that Little League is a volunteer run organization, wants Colts football. Mr. Jack now might remember that, is a volunteer based organization. You know, everybody can play. It gets to a point where it becomes so big that it's burdensome on staff. These are volunteer, you need volunteers to coach. We have a full-time staff of 13, and back in the day when Dave started it, and I think he did it actually just to give the kids something to do. I don't think even he knew how big it was gonna be, and at one point, there were over 300 kids in soccer. And just by that very nature, that's why you see these organizations splinter off to be volunteer-based, driven by, volunteer coaches and people supporting that. It's too big for your local governments to be able to support something like that. I don't even,
And youth soccer is its own affiliate.
they are no longer affiliate.
And that's in every community, like, that each community has youth soccer, so it's not it's not something that the park districts typically run.
Not a unicorn.
Yeah.
I want to suggest that it deserves special treatment because it is important to the community. It serves a purpose that
I think
the
they
park
appreciate
can't
that.
serve itself, and I think it does deserve special treatment. Raising the rates makes it it's just
Thank
not
you.
fair. That's all.
Yes, ma'am.
Unless I'm mistaken, because I also have my kids jersey because they play in the soccer league here, but also in order to play basketball, go to North Riverside, in order to play baseball, go to River Forest, and the Park District runs the North Riverside Basketball League with the support of volunteers. So the coaches are volunteers, but it's through the Park District, so I don't think it's anomalous to say that a Park District has a youth league that is also reliant on volunteer support because the staffs are small, because there's a lot of kids. So I just want to mention that, but also more importantly, because I'm not an expert in those kinds of matters, I just wanted to say that's been my observation there. I just am really concerned by what Commissioner Aldermora had to say. If there wasn't a board vote, let's not pretend that this can be policy that's enacted.
It's not.
But why is it being imposed now? If it's not policy, then why and how can? You're laughing, but these are like real concerns and it feels disrespectful when you laugh. And I know you're frustrated because critique is hard to hear. But once again, this is part of the public speaking about what concerns them. And we're able to be here in good faith, trying to collaborate with you and understand from you how decisions are made, because those decisions affect us and our kids. So if it's not policy, it's still happening. And the way it seemed to happen was sudden. And even if you say there's been lots of years of conversation about this, that's a huge increase out of the blue for families. And it's going to keep going up. And it's our only youth soccer league is what people continue to say. So to be making it harder for kids to participate in that league that is homegrown, that is the only way they can play in our town, just feels unfair. It feels wrong. And I really hope that this can be a productive conversation moving forward that might pull the reins back on this particular policy, have an open process to discuss, right? And so, once again, thank you for listening to us, but really, like, we're not trying to make your lives harder or bad. We're trying to advocate for our community, and I think that's within our right as citizens of this.
Okay. With that 837, pardon, sir?
Evan Dolman, 837 Anna Avenue. So on my way over here, I saw that there are baseball players. There's 3 teams playing on the soccer field. And with the beautiful new softball fields, I know those kids would love to play on the real baseball field. And I don't understand why, if you're saying that needs to be equal time and you're taking time away from the soccer, because obviously this soccer league is important. It is. And to be honest, I like baseball more. I would love to see them playing the baseball field. And this is it's a serious question on what's going on. And I will address that your constituents asked for a real safety test that they knew was the right test. But it was addressed that our test was good enough. And if this test was under $2,000, it's kind of a jab. And now that's principle. And we won't even give you guys taking away the bleachers. It's these jabs. And I don't understand that. I don't think they understand, let alone the price increase.
Thank you. Yeah. With that, we're gonna go into close. No, we're not.
Oh, sorry. I don't know.
Go ahead.
I mean, I just like was taking notes during all that, so this might be a little more jumbled than my prepared statement. You talked about the shade structures for the pickleball courts. I really want to advocate for when it comes time to the soccer field, please, 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 please consider adding shade structures and actual bleachers to the field, because it's really hot out there when the weather's nice. So please add those to those as well. I just want to thank Pam and Lauren for bringing in the soccer jerseys, or all of the jerseys. I feel like it really struck a chord with me. And that my kids wearing a River Forest jersey, my kids wearing an Oak Park jersey, there is no pride in that. My kids wearing a Forest Park jersey, that's what they wear at school when it's sports day. We're not wearing Bulls, we're not wearing the socks, we're wearing our Forest Park youth soccer jersey. That is what we were wearing. There's so much pride in that. I think that if we are saying, oh, it is good for our community to bring in River Forest baseball, to bring in Oak Park football. If we're really being collaborative, saying, hey, can we put our name on that too, so that our kids are proud that this is an Oak Park and Forest Park league? Otherwise, it means nothing. My kids we've had to travel outside of this community like many other people to participate in all of the activities. My kids will tell me time and time again, where are my friends? I don't they don't feel that same sense of camaraderie, the same sense of pride, the same sense of belonging that they do when they are here for Forest Park Youth Soccer. So thank you for bringing those, because I feel like that really illustrates what a lot of us are feeling. It's, our families shouldn't have to be split up because we're gonna have to go to Oak Park for this or River Forest for this. Let's see, I think moving forward, I'm sorry.
Close on time.
Yeah, I think I have like very concrete next steps for this board. Set the policies, X% of residents, this fee, this priority, X% of residents, this fee, this priority, so that it's transparent, it's equal. I agree, it's not fair that 100% of middle school are residents, 92% of Forest Park Youth Soccer are residents. Like, agree, that's not our fault. Okay, we can balance it out, but make a 5-year plan, make it known. Let's not, in 1 year, our full passes already went up 75% from 1 year to the next. I know my salary hasn't gone up. I paid $180 in 2022 for a family of 4. Last year I paid $320. My salary has not gone up 75%. Like, this is becoming a pattern. It's who passes, and now, without notice, the soccer.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say, yeah, I kind of feel like we're being pushed out as residents. I'm Christina. I grew up here at Forest Park, I would be 36 years. And for the past 20 years, Forest Park Soccer League is all we had. Even as an adult, I find myself driving to Elmhurst every week to play volleyball. And Berkeley to play volleyball during the summer. Because the prices here are much higher, just like pool passes, much higher. My mom bought us a pool pass every year, and now I'm paying $200 for me and my son. But also, if my son wants to participate in anything, we're going to Oak Park, River Forest, yeah. But, and I also coach soccer here. My son is not a big soccer fan, right? Help me out with him. But I still call off work because I genuinely think it helped me growing up, and it helped. It's the only thing that lasted. We had baseball, softball, we don't see that anymore. And I know it's separate than the park district, you said it's a separate entity. But I still feel like it's Forest Park for kids or not. I mean, I feel like we're not giving our kids anything. And I feel like I was just at the middle school, graduating in 2011, so, and now as an adult and a parent and a resident, still aren't saying anything. That was the only thing I had. If it wasn't tied to the school, the middle school, it was soccer. There was nothing else to offer for the kids. And now 20 years later, still nothing. Soccer, and now it's like we're getting pushed out. And us coaches, we are residents, taxpayers, but now we're paying double because we're paying for our kids to be a part of the team. And we're coaching for free, volunteer. So, and it's not something that we're complaining about, it's just love it, we see what it's done for the community and the kids, and now it's just like.
Thank you.
But, thank you.
Anna again, hi. So what Christina said is right. I just want to put it in perspective about our fees would probably double as, you know, individuals and families registering for soccer. When I do the math, 678 hours at 50, you know, versus 4, we're talking about a difference of $21,188. That is 0.4% of the park's budget of a $6.2 million budget. That's negligible. That's almost a rounding error. So what would, you know, it means everything to us, and it's not going to break the bank for you. So I just want to make that point when you're making a decision. And then Oak Park has this great program. It's called PACT. Is anyone familiar with this?
I have.
Yes, the acronym is like partner affiliate something. So for comparable leagues to Forest Park, they pay $12 an hour for 90% or more residents. And it is $12 an hour. River Forest, $13 an hour. And they invite Maywood residents for free to join their soccer program. So I really encourage all of the board members to look around and see what is comparable in our neighboring communities and what is fair. And I would argue that don't use it as Forest Park Middle School is paying $25 an hour. Let's lower theirs too and make it fair for them. Move it down to the $12 range. Thank you.
Thank you.
I was gonna echo some of the comments as well, so just to go this first, thank you for clarifying, because yeah, I was misunderstood and thought the decision had been made, so thank you for making that clarification, that was just a conversation. Thanks for including us in the conversation about that, really do sincerely appreciate that, and also just want to say too, that with the soccer program itself, I hope you're seeing too, like, there's an identity and community formation that happens with our soccer league. And if I can just share a real locally brief story, numerous times watching the coaching that this provides to our kids. Our kids have played teams that have been less than sportsmanlike, and our kids have played superlatively despite playing teams of less character, and that's the coaching. And so just to say right now, later, the park district's investment in that is an investment in the character development of the children in the future of Forest Parks. So I think that's an important consideration as well as you think about prices and to agree, like, yeah, if let's raise the water level for everybody. If we can, maybe there's a halfway somewhere. I think that's a great way to look to move forward on this. Okay, maybe we pay an extra $2 or $3. Well, how can we bring it down for the school as well? Because I don't think it's fair. I'm ready to do it, like, well, the school has to pay more. That doesn't seem right. So I think there's a way to find it halfway. And I think too, just kind of a sticker shock to go from that $4 to 25. I mean, that's just like, if I went to Aldi and all of a sudden the milk is $30 a gallon, no one's buying milk at Aldi anymore, right? Nothing against Aldi. But just to say, I think maybe the sticker shock kind of unintentionally inflamed the situation a little bit too. So I just want to recognize that and so just probably moving forward constructively, yeah, maybe there's a way, what's the way to help all the Forest Park constituencies have a advantage in price that still keeps it cost effective for families. I'm thinking of our friend here who's trying to help the program and coach, but now he's got one kid here, himself over here in this other part, because the other part of it too is it sounds like the price is going to go up and there's less access to the park at the same park grounds at the same time. So it's like, surely there's a way to even that out. And then lastly, just wanted to say, maybe there's other spaces that can be used. Like, I know that green space that's now like a dog, I think it's the dog park area. Again, new guy, forgive me if I'm being wrong. Maybe we can think creatively about the way the space we do have, and maybe you can use some of that, repurpose that a little bit for some space or some of that for some space as well. So yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
We're going to adjourn this part of the meeting and go into closed session. There will be no action coming out. So you're welcome to go out there and wait if you'd like, but we're going to come out and adjourn from that.
I need a motion in a second.
So somebody make.
So moved. Second.
Then move in second, and any discussion. Hearing none.
Nelson Moore. Aye. Lyons. Aye. McDermott. Aye. And somebody. Oh, yeah, he's not even. And Gillian.
Thank you all.
Don't forget the Easter hunt.